Deku and Bakugo both walk up to the stage, the crowd going wild as the teachers talk about their quirks. Katsuki Bakugo, quirk, explosion, and Izuku Midoriya, quirk, thermite. Both of these combatants can create localized explosions, controlling their size and potency based on a fuel source that they secrete from their palms. Some people in the crowd start jotting this down, wanting to send them both internship opportunities, until Aizawa butts in. Although they both seem similar, I can assure you there's a difference in their quirks. I've seen it with my own eyes. I can promise you this will be a final for the ages. Deku and Bakugo both smirk hearing this, staring each other down. No bad feelings, right? Deku laughs a little. Zero. The gun goes off and straight away they get into it. Deku starts off by sending off a blob of thermite right at Bakugo, exploding half of it. There's a huge bang and as the second half is shot right next to Bakugo. Smirking, Deku let this one go too. Bakugo, knowing Deku would start with something big, dodged upwards, barely dodging as a fireball erupts from the entire arena. People in the stands are shocked by this, watching the two of them fight. Bakugo sending AP shots at Deku, Deku exploding the ring borderline every shot he takes. The crowd feels each and every shot they throw, a pulse being sent right through their body. Some people in the front having singed hairs, the heat starting to get to them. Deku and Bakugo though are completely unaware of this. It's been a while since they had a nice little fight. Once again they go in, this time Bakugo taking the charge. He flies in at Deku, spinning mid-air and sending off an AP shot which like a laser, splits the ring in half. He smirks before Bakugo sends a howitzer impact right at Deku. Deku, not seeing this coming, barely explodes away, shooting backwards, watching as the shockwave claps and hits him. He rolls and rolls, about to roll out until he stops himself in an explosion, smirk growing into a full sadistical grin. Screw the quirks! They came here to see a fight, didn't they? A creep goes over Bakugo's face too. Huh, couldn't have said it better myself. Deku throws the gloves off and starts wiping the thermite away, plopping them on the floor behind him, Bakugo taking his half-ripped shirt off as they start walking in. They reach the middle and start throwing hands, Bakugo landing some shots on Deku, but Deku taking mad shots on Bakugo. The crowd cheers on every hit landed, the camera zooming in. People go nuts, shotgunning beers, fighting in the stands, everything. Testosterone going through the roof. The two of them separate for a second, wiping the blood off their face before deciding in their heads at the same time it's time to end it with one final shot. Go off with a bang. They both separate further, backing up to the edge of the ring completely silently. Deku stares him down once more. This is taking too long. You trying to one and done it? Bakugo hears this and smirks. I thought you'd never ask, nerd. They both start spamming explosions in their hands, getting as much sweat and thermite as possible. Deku using his gloves to bring as much compressed thermite as possible into an orb, and Bakugo's palms are legit full of sweat. Gross, but true. They jump in at each other, throwing their attacks. Deku shoots off his compressed orb and Bakugo lets off a mega howitzer impact. Everything grows completely silent as the two attacks meet in the middle. Everyone would straight away be shot from their seats, people legit flying in the air from the wind pressure. Cement peels off and flies into every direction, the announcers going crazy waiting for the carnage to unfold. The stadium full of dust blocking their view. The heroes from outside drop to their knees, seeing the explosion that dwarfed the entire stadium. Legit, the biggest explosion in all of this series just went off. After a minute or so, the dust clears. Cameras desperately searching for the two of them, eventually both being found knocked out and out of bounds. The crowd for a while sits silent, waiting for one of them to wake up. The announcers going off their nuts at them, yelling and cursing from them for almost killing everyone. This is until Deku's eyes open. The once grassy field was reduced to nothing but dirt. Grass flicked into the stadium, concrete broken and cracked all around him. He looks up at the screen as finally the crowd goes crazy. Deku being announced the winner of the UA Sports Festival by technicality. They stand on the podiums, Deku being first, Bakugo being second, and I'm gonna say Tokiyami being third or something. Bakugo's not even mad, he talks smack to Deku like, heh, you're just lucky I didn't sleep well last night. The crowd cheers louder than they'd ever cheered at any sports festival, the rush of the battle making them go nuts. Everyone's adrenaline spiking through the roof. Deku and Bakugo would eventually be let go, walking down the top half before running into Nezu and Aizawa. Nezu pops up on Aizawa's shirt, starts talking. Well boys, that final move really was something. I really was impressed myself honestly. Our first years truly are top rate. Aizawa then pops in. But you did almost get UA shut down. What if a piece of cement hit a watcher? Glass smashed into a civilian. Deku and Bakugo hold their heads low. You're lucky it was a good fight and that no one else got hurt in the stands. That being said, you two will be expected to clean the entire mess up. And quickly. You do remember you have internships coming up, right? Deku and Bakugo look at each other. It completely slipped their minds. Right away they get to cleaning. For 3 days straight, that's all they do. Scrubbing and chipping away at the grime that they shot everywhere. Pause. This whole time talking about who they want to internship with. Eventually they'll go back to class, both having chosen the same place to intern at. A certain kid wouldn't be happy with it either. Endeavor. They make their way to Endeavor's agency right away, looking around the place like when they eventually intern there in Canon. Right away they're taken on a chase, like in Canon just trying to keep up. Deku, although not as good at this, would eventually get some pointers from Endeavor, eventually learning how to move like Bakugo, only exploding small sections of his pace at once to make constant smaller explosions instead of one big one. With this, Deku was now a step above Bakugo. They'll both do this for a couple of days, eventually going out like in Canon to face the Nomu. Now, because Deku wasn't there, they don't get the text from him, so I'ma say they were just told to separate and to cover more distance. Deku and Bakugo finding Stain and Ida in the alleyway. Both of them smirk, Deku speaking first. What do we have here? Ida, what do you think you're doing? Engine head ass. Stain laughs a little bit before he locks back in. Who are you two heroes? Do you wish to be purged as well? He runs at the two of them, Deku and Bakugo both exploding up to dodge. A blade gets thrown at him, which Deku dodges, but Bakugo gets scraped by. Deku watching as Stain went for the knife. Feeling something was up, he formed a small sphere of thermite, throwing it at Stain from above, which rocked him, along with getting the knife out of his grasp. Bakugo seeing this sends an AP shot mid-air, slamming into the gut of Stain, undoing his utility belt with all his knives, and from there it was wraps. They jump him, like it's not even funny, they go nuts on him, knocking him out and tying him up like normal before the police and Endeavor come to get him. Like in Canon, they are not awarded for this, and are in fact close to being kicked out of UA for beating him so bad, but they get a pardon as they captured him. The internships get cut short, and they get thrusted right into the final exams. They finish their theory exam like normal, Deku doing pretty good on this lowkey before going right into the practical portion. Everyone's paired up like in Canon, Deku this timeline being paired with Mineta and being put in a battle versus Aizawa. This would be a good fight, like Aizawa versus Deku with straight hands could be really sick honestly, so. Deku starts the battle and would rush in, saving up some thermite in his hands. He would go in to find Aizawa who cancels his quirk. Deku checks his hands to see if the thermite was still there. Knowing that, Deku would rush in, punching Aizawa and sneaking some thermite onto some of his joints when he wasn't looking. Deku pretends to take a hit and runs away, getting out of the range before getting his quirk back. He smirks, finding Mineta and being like, "Watch this. Remote explosives." He mimes clicking a button as the thermite goes off, taking Aizawa out of commission and getting them a pass right away. From there they will go to the training camp, getting on the bus and being dropped off on the top of the mountain. Deku and Bakugo in this timeline being stronger than in Canon would carry the class, getting them there 2 hours earlier than normal. Even the teachers are impressed by this. The teamwork they showed, the combos they already knew, it was crazy. They eat and sleep the night away before waking up nice and early for the next day of training. Like in Canon, Bakugo's got his hands in the little oil drum, filled with hot water to try and train his quirk. Deku in this timeline would do something a little bit special. Aizawa gave him some specially made gloves, compressing his entire hand but the middle part of the palm. Aizawa would tell him to train, making him make as much thermite as possible from the one point on his hand as quickly as possible. To do this, Deku was placed about a meter away from some cups, telling him to shoot some thermite into it from as far away as possible. Now, this does sound simple, but thermite is a putty. Like, you gotta remember that. So, he's standing a meter away, and he's got like a little circle in the middle of his palm, and that's the only spot he can shoot thermite from, right? And so he aims his hand out, he tries to shoot it into them cups from a meter away. That is like a lot harder than what you'd think. Through this training method, Deku Loki goes crazy. Just through that day, he gets a hang over it, finding he can produce more and more at once now. Along with this, he's now able to shoot some off like a grenade or something. Him and Bakugo are happy with their progress, getting some food once more on the second night before getting some shut-eye. The exact same thing happens the exact next day. I can't exactly remember what they did on the third day, so I don't know. Now, if I remember correctly, Shigaraki and Korigiri are also locked up, so this night would go a little bit different. This time it was All For One leading the attack, having a copy of Korigiri's quirk being used instead. He and the normal squad walk out the portal, All For One straight away flying up, locating the first target. As the class does their regular scaring thing like in canon, All For One would steal the search quirk from that one cat, using it to find the location of every teacher and student present. Right away he flies up, flying towards them at top speeds, looking down on all of them. Everyone was none the wiser. All For One flies above the tree line, getting closer and closer to his goal. They both fly up a little bit, getting above the tree line and looking out. They see smoke everywhere above the tree line. And then they see a strange sight, something they didn't want to see. All For One flies by about 100 meters off in the distance. Deku and Bakugo watching him, mouths agape, stopping and staring at the villain. How the hell did he even get here? Who is he? All For One, having sensory quirks activated, would hear the conversation, stopping completely midair and staring right at the two of them, taking a beeline straight towards them. The two of them have their eyes go wide, watching as he approaches. Straight away they blast up and out of the tree line, floating midair as All For One would slow to a stop. Katsuki Bakugo, quirk, explosion, and Izuku Midoriya, quirk, thermite. You two were the ones to lock up my protege, weren't you? Such a shame. Just as he was finally thinking for himself, Bakugo cuts in. Heh, I don't know who the hell you are, but that freak had it coming. All For One hearing this would smirk. Well, he would if he could, you know. Then Deku would cut in. What are you here for? Who are you all? All For One floats above them, looking down on the two of them. To you, I am a god. For you are ants to me. Thus, I won't even waste my time fighting the two of you. I came here for a different purpose anyway. A huge portal opens up behind All For One, spewing out a sleeping Gigantomachia before speaking. Machia, wake up and handle these two for me. I got work to do. He goes and flies off once more as Gigantomachia wakes up. Deku and Bakugo watch on as it grows huge spikes on its fingers, roaring and cutting a huge crater out of the land. They stare at it, Bakugo going left and Deku going right. Deku starts building up as much thermite as he can into a ball as Bakugo distracts it, getting a couple of golf ball sized balls and flying down next to Bakugo. He throws two on the back of the head and two on the front, the two of them clearing before Deku blows it up. He doesn't feel a single thing at all, continually going at them, jumping up into the air to reach them, which they both dodge. Bakugo speaks midair. We gotta blow this thing to hell. You reckon we could take this thing down from the inside? Deku smirks. Didn't even think of that. They start falling, as does Machia. Deku goes right a little bit, charging up an attack as Bakugo begins to charge up her howitzer impact. Koda from the mountainside watches, seeing a huge villain drop from the sky with a small light next to him glowing brighter and brighter as time went on. Machia lands as Bakugo catches up to him, slamming him in the tooth and jaw with a howitzer impact as Deku falls just in time. He slams a yoga ball amount of thermite right into its mouth. Pause. Koda from the mountain sees two specks flying higher and higher into the air before boom! You thought the explosion before was big. Nah. This explosion is big enough to straight up destroy a mountain. Everyone in the class, all the teachers, even All For One stops to stare at this. All For One now is kinda pissed. That was his toy, and he broke it. So he decided to speed up, rushing at his target quicker and quicker. Deku and Bakugo know they're gonna catch up. Seeing nothing left of Machia, they both speed off in All For One's direction. After about a minute of chasing, they catch up, just in time, seeing Aizawa on the floor half knocked out and bloody, with All For One standing next to him, hand out. Deku and Bakugo speed in, Deku getting Aizawa as Bakugo sends a howitzer impact at All For One. They float midair, Deku carrying Aizawa. All For One stares them down. Out of all the ants on this ant hill tonight, you two truly are the toughest. But what did I say before? He speed blitzes Deku, slamming a punch into his gut with 6 quirks active before grabbing Aizawa off his back. Deku feels the impact and is sent flying, slamming into the floor and going through a couple of trees. Bakugo watches this happen. You bastard! He sends out 2 AP shots, one from each hand, aimed at All For One. All For One blocks using a shield quirk. Deku on the floor, coasting in and out of consciousness, watching this go on. He watches as Bakugo gets crept, like in the intro, getting stabbed and almost dying. His eyes go wide, realizing what he just saw. He tries to move, but can't. All For One begins to monologue, but he can't hear him. Everything in his body wanted him to move, to kill All For One. With only that goal in mind, his quirk started reacting. His thermite was still getting created, but this time, inwards. Into his palms and throughout his body. He screamed on the floor in pain as it filled and swelled every muscle in his body. His body glowed from internal heat, the thermite being like a nuclear reactor in Deku's body. All For One watches this happen, thinking it was quite peculiar. He sends tendrils to Deku, which, to his surprise, get blocked. Not just blocked, but blitzed. He stands about 10 meters away, staring at All For One, blood trickling down his head. I'm the only one standing, the only thing between you and them. There's no way I'm going down. He charges up, his body glowing more and more. The floor below him began cracking and melting as he jumped forward, slamming a fist into All For One so quick he didn't even see it. The thermite in his body expands, overclocking his fist and sending internal explosions to strengthen it. All For One gets sent flying, Deku running right after him. Bakugo on the floor seeing this is amazed, thinking about what actually happened. He knew deep down this was a final gambit, and that Deku might die after this. He felt nothing but uselessness in this moment. It would push him too. Bakugo, like in Cannon, would awaken, his speed going through the roof. He stands up, blitzing both All For One and Deku, not just catching up. He sends a huge howitzer impact at All For One, sending him flying back to Deku, who clocks his fist back. One move! He drops his stance, arms swelling and glowing red hot. He clocks it back and slams it right into All For One's heart area. All For One not even able to react, looking down. Seeing Deku already punctured his heart, his hand going through his entire body. He tries to steal Deku's quirk, but he dies before he can. Deku, seeing this, drops to the floor, as does Bakugo, leaving Aizawa to wake up and put the pieces together himself. They're left in hospital for ages, drifting in and out. In the end, Bakugo lost some sensation in his arms, and now has to be careful with his quirk usage. Along with this, Deku completely lost an arm due to overclocking, but the two of them still go on to be mad heroes, still being 2 and 3. Because, you know, they're nerfed now and Mirio isn't, and he's got one for all. Anyway, that's the whole story. I hope you did like it. Sorry I wrote the last part a little bit later than the rest of them. Whoops, like 3 weeks late. I'm getting back into it now. Sorry for the break again, yeah. Hope you like it. I hope to see you again soon. This last part, I tried to do like a different recording style, and I don't know, I think it works out better, but it did take a while. Anyways, hope to see you in the next one. It is going to be a banger, and catch ya.